Good morning, what's up? Welcome to the morning chat with Rico. It's this September 21st. Nice brisk day. I just finished my morning run and thought I'd come in and give my thoughts on this. This is a few days old, but I still want to at least record my thoughts on it. First of all, what's up, everybody? What's good? Before I get started, check out on this Facebook page as well as this YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist. My short story, it's always on sale. It's only $10. $ Rico the Opinionist, or PayPal Rico the Opinionist, OPINIONIST. It's a short story that I wrote years ago, and it's entitled "The Greatest Pain I Ever Felt." The conversation with my absent biological father who never wanted to be found. I think I have a picture of it somewhere. But anyway, go ahead and check it out. It's when I found out about who my actual biological father was by accident at the age of 22. But I didn't get a chance to meet him in person, not by my doing, but his doing. He never wanted to meet me until the age of 39. And then when I knocked on his door, because I looked up his address and all that stuff, he came to the door. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" He said, "Well, how did you find me?" That's the question he posed. Major question, rather. And I told him through Google MapQuest. And he was like, "I have to give you an A for effort because I've worked aggressively over the years to prevent you from ever finding me." So if you'd like to read the entirety of that story in its entirety, it's called "The Greatest Pain I Ever Felt," the conversation with my absent biological father who never wanted to be found. So get at me. It's in the description box of this YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist, as well as on this Facebook page, Rico is so opinionated. All right, and so my topic today is going to be really quick, I guess, but I want us to understand. First, I want to start off by giving a shout out to WillieD, who posed the question: how come the media is not the mainstream white media is not covering what LilNasX said on the Breakfast Club a few days ago, when DJ Envy posed this question to LilNasX. He said, "Okay, Lil Nas, you got parents out there, and the parents want you to exercise responsibility, to what you're putting out there to the kids. So what do you have to say to them, Lil Nas X?" And he responded quickly, "Fuck your kids." And if you want to hear what WillieD said, just go to WillieD's page, and of course he does that. I watch quite a few of WillieD's stuff, and no, I don't agree with everything, a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of things I do. So he's cool. And so, but I appreciate his epic slow clap, what he does when it's something that he totally agrees with. He does two things that I appreciate. First, he does his epic slow clap. And then he'll say, when he poses a question and it's like, like a shocking question, he'll do it with his mouth, make the noise, dun, dun, dun. And it's funny because if you ever watch WillieD, he comes across and he has this very stoic, no nonsense presentation. So whenever he does any of that, it's just it takes you out of the realms of seriousness. But WillieD is one of those men you don't play with in person, and so kind of be careful if you have a disagreement, but disagree with a little more dignity and tact than you would normally do. So shout out to WillieD, and he said this thing at the end of his video when he was done giving his opinions and thoughts about Lil Nas X's behavior. So it was a lot of things. He said, "Lil Nas X, fuck your kids. Nah, fam, son, fuck you." Shout out to WillieD. I want to give a shout out to, of course, Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown is posing the greatest questions on his YouTube channel. When I listen to him, and his very southern, very direct, and very masculine presentation. And when he cusses and when he talks, it sounds like one of your uncles who got that jar of ice glass water, that jar of ice glass. Man, hand me that water over there. You know, he talks just like, you know, how a lot of our uncles would talk, and he says, boy, the same way we've heard it growing up, boy. Why you at them schools, boy? Why you going around them colleges, boy? When he's addressing Stephen A. Smith, old punk ass. But he also broke down, the same as Willie D. These are 2, 3, I think Self-Talk and Carcino. Shout out to those 2 brothers as well. He brought out the question, he posed this question with LilNasX. He said, no, he brought out the whole, he explained it this way. LilNasX was introduced to us by way of children. It's Old Town Road, you wanna ride till I can't no more. Y'all remember the video when these folks invited him to the elementary school? And it had a cafeteria, probably about 2,000 kids. It appeared they were screaming to the top of their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade lungs. That's how LilNasX was introduced. So that means that his fan base is children, right? And then he ended up on Sesame Street and hello kids. You know, go check out the videos on YouTube. And then he did the performances with his cowboy hat. He did an interview with the kids. You know, he's been funded and supported by children. Keep following me. And so, as Kwame and others have pointed out, and it's very noticeable, all of a sudden now that he has the attention of his children fan base, and oh, by the way, he has a children's book called C for Country. That's out. And he will be voicing the reboot of The Proud Family, which is a children's cartoon. Him and another thought by the name of Lizzo. And I think Normani, you know, but she's a little cutie. That Normani. Y'all know that is chocolate thunder. But anyway, he's been marketed to children. And the first thing he does, once he has the eyes and ears of the children, let me pause right there and give y'all the story of the Pied Piper. And what was the story of the Pied Piper? Got all the attention of the children. And as he was leading the children out of the village away from their parents. To do what? Fill in the blanks. Okay? And I know in some cartoons they were saying that he was leading all the rats out. I remember seeing that. But when I learned the true story of the Pied Piper, it's nothing but a pedophile. Leading the children out, away from their parents. LilNasX, these black athletes wearing dresses, these big, strong, buck-broken black athletes wearing dresses, and the black rappers. Who love black rappers? Rappers more than anybody. Children. See, what has become so blatant now is the attack of the children by the LGBTQP. And I remember having conversations with my friends back in the day about, you know, power and people standing up and the power of music and images. And the music has become triple, double, quadruple sexualized. And I remember making this comment, when you have people only thinking about going to bed and thinking about sex, you don't have to worry about them standing up for anything. And every time you look around, every song that's in the minds of young black boys and black girls is always extremely sexual. All of it. That they play on the radio and that they put on YouTube. And so if children look up to these black athletes and these black rappers, well, you have the black athletes carrying purses and wearing dresses and doing weird stuff. And then you have the rappers always pushing some kind of homoerotic, homo-thuggish stuff. And go outside and look at your young men. 11 to 18 years old with these tight clothes on and tattoos, this weird effeminate behavior, but in anger. TV is a powerful medium. We've always known this. And when I hear Kwame Brown speaking, when I was listening to Willie D talking about, speaking the way in which they speak, it makes me think about the scholars, such as Steve Coakley, who talked about the gatekeepers, the boule, the purpose of white supremacy. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Brother Neely Fuller, they talked about the purpose. Neely Fuller coined the phrase white supremacy. If you don't know its agenda, what it looks like, if you don't know what it looks like, what it sounds like, and its agenda, everything else you see would only confuse you. And when you point out men wearing skirts and dresses who are not gay, see, I understand if gay men was wearing like this, but these are supposedly heterosexual men, right? Wearing dresses and skirts. And by the way, we're black. We're not Scottish. We're not Irish. So all you ignorant folks out there saying, people in Ireland and Scotland been doing it, but that's their white culture. We're not. We're black men in America. What the hell we got to do? What does wearing a skirt have to do with African American culture? Nothing. So you have to know the language. You have to understand the impact and the intent of white supremacy as it relates to control, in order for you to properly be able to combat these false narratives that they try to throw out at you whenever you confront it. Steve Coakley spent his whole life showing us who the gatekeepers are and why they stand at the gate of white supremacy to confuse and befuddle and the black masses and America as it relates to the media. The media is a machine. The media hates YouTube because for years we've always watched the Channel 5, Channel 3, Channel 13, whatever news, evening news, and world news, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and they would edit and cut and give us and cut a narrative that they want. But on YouTube and social media, you get to see the whole story. So social media, one thing about it has allowed us to see the whole story as well as report stories that the mainstream media refuse to, and on purpose, to report. LilNasX, him saying, fuck your kids. When he started off, when he is here because of children. Why isn't that on the lips of these mainstream huge platform holding bloggers that are famous, these celebrity bloggers? How come Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, USA Today, why don't they have this splattered all over the newspapers? How come TMZ, Inside Edition, Good Morning America, Tamron Hall, how come these mainstream outlets have not put this dude on blast? Now, they've always attacked rappers in the past who had adult labels on their CDs, meaning whatever they said it was for adults. But LilNasX came out specifically off the backs and the spirit of children. And the first thing he does is start doing bucket naked things. Not because he's gay, because his material is not for children. His industry baby, this latest one, What I Want, my God. His appearance on BET. But you know what you have not seen LilNasX do, the little son of a bitch? Perform his sexual kissing men and twerking his ass on country music television. I don't think they've invited him because, see, let me give y'all a quick story of LilNasX. That's why I've done 2 videos on him on this YouTube channel. He's a little bitch. He's a little prostitute. Do anything, even pretend to be gay. Allegedly, reportedly. Now he's doing all this stuff, but I don't put anything past people who are desperate for fame and money. I don't put anything past them. LilNasX, when he was the cartoon Negro, this big grown black dude, rhinestones and all that, well, that's how the country music community accepted him. Accepting him as a cartoon character, and he was do-de-do-do, old town road-de-do, ride, acting like a harmless cartoon character to white country children, to the white community in the country music society. But then, if y'all weren't paying attention, they took that from him and allowed Billy Ray Cyrus to take it further, along with this little white kid who was a YouTube sensation. They took him and made him they took that away from him. They took that piece of him and kept it in the country music. But interestingly enough, LilNasX brought the filth and the call me what you want, call me what you need. No, brought that to BET, to the black artist. He brought his filth and debauchery to the black community. Y'all not paying attention. LilNasX is just a son of a bitch. Not because he's gay. He has no character. He has no code of conduct. He'll do anything for money. And again, according to Willie D, according to Kwame Brown, why in the hell hasn't the mainstream media picked up on this and questioned him endlessly? Why did you say fuck your kids when you purposely did the Pied Piper? Led the children away from their parents so you can have your way with them. You ever wonder why these gay parades, where the men walk around with their dinglings hanging out and thongs and their booty cracks and all this, but they had children there? It's a recruitment tool. Because gay parades, I've never been to one, but when I see them on television and all that, that's no place for children. That's the first place Gabrielle Union took her very minor stepson to a public sex den of debauchery. Y'all understand how this thing works? See, grown people are already convinced or taken over, so now they want the children. Why do you think they have dudes dressed up in women's clothes going to elementary schools? And who are the principals allowing these grown-ass men in dresses and wigs to come and have what's called transgender story time to kindergartens to third graders? See, when you hit them when they're young, they'll have it in their mind. By the time they're 13, 14, they'll see nothing abnormal about 6'5" dudes wearing purses and wearing skirts. Oh, that's just fashion. That's normal. See, normalizing Sodom and Gomorrah. Where my religious black folks at? Where my religious folks? Well, we can say, where the conservative whites? Well, they ain't worried about no LilNasX on that end. Because if they thought it was impacting them and their children, they'll shut it down before the weekend comes. But black people, I don't know what is it about. We just allow debauchery just to flourish as long as it's making money, I guess. It's something about my race in this country that's kind of off. And there's so many bought-off puppets and celebrities that are famous, who are actors, who are singers, who are politicians. And that's really, oh my God, it's really destroying. It has, I'm sorry, not destroying, but has destroyed the black race in America. Because we won't. And then you have one or two people to stand up and speak out against it. And then you have a mob attack on that one person. You know how black people allowed Jesus Christ to be attacked when he was standing up for everybody? How black people allowed Fred Hampton, Marcus Garvey, Dr. King, and all these people? Man, there was these one black man to stand up for millions of blacks. They stood by and let it happen. Well, this still continues to go on. Dr. Frances Wilson, Neela Fuller, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu said, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu wrote the books Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And on YouTube right now, so I'm telling y'all where to go so you won't think I'm lying. Go, I'm telling you where to go. He said, in order to have a broken man, we have to have a broken black man or destroyed black man, you have to first destroy him as a boy. Y'all see how this works? If you want your foolishness to continue, you have to plant it in the seeds of children. LilNasX has, I would say, almost hired to be a Pied Piper for pedophiles. Almost like we say, R. Kelly referred to himself as the Pied Piper, leading young girls to his den. He even called himself Pied Piper, knowing his music was hypnotizing to the children. Y'all understand now? Even in cartoons, like Arthur and more children can't even watch those because the women in the cartoons now have camel toe and cleavage pushed up under their chest, and they have the cartoon characters same sex kissing one another. We're not even paying attention. And if we are, we don't say anything about it. Every voice is needed to fight Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm not even a religious dude. I'm trying to appeal to you religious blacks. What's up? Because religious whites don't play that mess. Country music white folks don't play that mess. LilNasX says if he goes on Country Music Awards, he's going to sing his Old Town Road wearing his pink rhinestone outfit with his cowboy hat, being a cartoon that he was 3 years ago when they had him parade him around white folks. But he gets around black people, all of a sudden he becomes this sick, sadistic son of a bitch. This sexually inappropriate dumbass. And we just allowed it. And matter of fact, a lot of us defended it. Particularly black women. But that's the main group who's statistically coming last when it comes to husbands and men. But then they'll get on the world stage and say there aren't any eligible black men to marry. But then y'all group up together to promote and support and defend homosexuals. The crime is not, and so it's not that they're gay. It's that when you try to push your politics or your bedroom activities on children, listen, children, that's what's going on. So shout out to Willie D and Kwame Brown for pointing that out. And I know people like Pierre on Comedy Hype trying to, make it bigger than what it is now. Pierre, we've already been educated on your double talk and your forked tongue. I know a biracial dude trying to speak for the white system because he wants a job, he needs a job because he's the most unfunniest cat that's ever lived, walked on a comedy stage. Unfunniest crap. Not because he's such a hater, because he's just not funny. So, Comedy Hype is probably the best he's going to do. And no shade or disrespect to Comedy Hype. Shout out to little cute little Symphony. Hey, girl. Who's on Comedy Hype. But anyway, y'all pay attention. LilNasX, you little son of a bitch. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, but I know. But he said, fuck your kids. That's what he said. After he was brought here on the backs and the spirit of little children. So now he's turned it up a notch to recruit them over to the pedo side, the pedosexual side, or the pedophile side. LGBT recruit. That's what he is. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I just want to share that. Peace. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Not right there. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Hold it. I knew it. Let me tell you something. They've always used, it's funny how he's not being canceled for what he said. I want y'all to go back with me to annals of time, of history. There's this guy by the name of Paul Rubens. But Paul Rubens wasn't Paul Rubin. Paul Rubin, I think that's his name. When he went to work. When he went to work in the 80s, his name was Pee Wee Herman. Y'all remember Pee Wee Herman? And had his whole show, Pee Wee's Playhouse. Larry Fishburne played the cowboy on there, and he had a big couch, a big chair called Cherry. And he even had a movie called Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and he rode the bicycle, and he had the little tight suit, the bow tie. Well, I know a man, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? He did all that shit. He was geared towards children, right? And on screen, he was the perfect. He had the little rouge, he had the little porcelain skin with the red lipstick. He was Pee Wee Herman. Even there's a dance. They put a hip hop beat to his dance. Do 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 do. Yeah, Pee Wee Herman. Well, on his day off from work, I guess he had made a movie in a year or two, and I guess he's kind of fallen off. But we would have never known any of this because all we know he was just Pee Wee Herman. Well, Paul Rubens, when he was he wasn't in his outfit. He never put any music out there to disrespect the children, or he wasn't in his bow tie and his very fitted suit. Paul Rubens was at home. I guess when he wasn't being Pee Wee Herman. He His hair was long, because see, when you saw him as Pee Wee Herman, he had this very short, close hair with a little part here, and, just goofy ass dude when he was Pee Wee Herman. But when he wasn't being Pee Wee anymore, Paul Rubens, that's who I think his name Paul Rubens, that's his name. He was just being a regular person in his private life, because we've never known this. But he was seen or recorded in one of those adult theaters. Y'all know the adult sex theaters, they show movies. He was in one of the theaters, I guess, beating or spanking his Pee-wee. And it made news all over. And from that day forth, for many years, Paul Rubens was canceled. Before the word cancel came out, as Pee-wee. And I mean, oh my God, he was Pee Wee Herman for the children. How could he do this? I mean, it made a big stink about it. He didn't work again for years. For years. I don't think he's working now. But he has appeared in different things as, play other characters. But the Pee Wee Herman thing, he made millions off of it. He made a good living. But when they played out, because it was just a shtick. It was a character. But when he was being Paul Rubens on his own, he went up in the adult Kit Kat theater, and reportedly, allegedly, he was watching a movie and he decided to unzip his pants and began to spank his Pee-wee. And word got out. Somebody snitched him out. Now, he was in his private life, wasn't bothering anybody, wasn't directed towards children, but he was canceled. He was looked at as, oh my God, he's a weirdo. Oh my God, to think he was before our children. He wasn't, he wasn't a Pied Piper. He was playing a character. And he made sure he separated himself for that character. But LilNasX purposely went after the children for the purpose, come on somebody, of recruiting them for Satan. Anyway, shout out to Paul Rubens, man. Part of my young adult life. And, he was, anyway. Y'all continue to post the question, how come mainstream media has not called this man out? And also, I need all these celebrities and all these people with huge platforms, these politicians. Y'all heard it. The Breakfast Club is a widely viewed platform. It's across all of America as relates to radio stations across the country. And you know what? You haven't heard any hip-hop hosts. No, I haven't heard the Money Hustle say anything about this. L'Oreal, Head Crack, and all of them. Because they were one of the main ones of hip-hop. There's nationally syndicated hip-hop morning shows that attacked the baby. And L'Oreal was like, he just needs to apologize. He needs to apologize. That's all the baby needs to do, apologize. Well, L'Oreal and Head Crack and that other lady, you can't tell them apart because both of the women sound like Marge Simpson's sisters smoking Marlboro cigarettes. Oh my God, no he didn't. Oh, he needs to apologize, girl, let me tell you. I'm like, my God, are those actually women that sit up there next to Head Crack? Ugh, I've seen them in person, my God. Whew, I don't know if they're from the East Coast, but East Coast makes some rough-ass women. But, so I haven't heard them yet demand that LilNasX, or even address what LilNasX said. Maybe I'm missing something. But leave me a comment below here. Let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard any hip-hop morning show or evening show address this. So is Kwame Brown correct? Steve Coakley correct when he said all of y'all are part of this get along, go along, get along gang? Are y'all truly gatekeepers? Are y'all fronts for white supremacy, LGBT? Because y'all don't say anything. You haven't said a thing about LilNasX at all. But as soon as y'all think the LGBT is being offended, every Negro hip-hopper that has a morning show, thanks to Whitey, they got something to say, but they all giving the same script. Well, that's insensitive. He needs to learn more about people, and that's putting people down. He just needs to apologize when they were talking about the baby. Pay attention. Maybe y'all need to go watch some of these videos to get that kind of intelligence so you can know what these people are doing. They purposefully try to double talk as if you don't know what you're talking about. It's almost like when a guy cheats on his girlfriend and she walks in on him nailing the chick, and he looks at her and says, "You gonna believe me or what your lying eyes?" That's how they try to talk to people like us. Those of us who see exactly what's going on. Then they're trying to vilify or question our mental health. Oh my God. Shout out to Rest in Power, Steve Coakley, Dr. Francis Cresswell, Brother Neely Fuller. And continue with the courageous conversations, Kwame Brown and Willie D. And others who dare sound like the ancestors when approaching, when addressing, when clapping back at the gatekeepers. Y'all be cool. Talk to y'all later. Rico the Opinionist, and I'm out. Peace.